Good evening, Valpo. Sparked is here this Friday evening with an amazing episode to finish off this spring semester. Coming up later tonight, a full breakdown of the entire robotics football playoffs. Last time we broke down this year's bracket, tonight we take a look at who prevailed to take home the Brian Heaterman Memorial Trophy. Recently, we talked about Samsung's new foldable phone that is changing the game. But was this technology too good to be true? And back in 2018, we saw the first launch of the Falcon Heavy rocket. Although just a partial success, what happened the second time around? Well, find out tonight. Sparked is on the way. Good evening, Valpo. Thank you for joining me. I'm Colin Luft with the show keeping you up to date on the world of science, technology, and innovation. Over the past year, we have explored some exciting breakthroughs in space, 3D printing, robotics, and much more. Tonight, we have a jam-packed show with a little bit of everything, but first, as always, let's start out with the Fast Five and check out what's going on across the country and around the world. There's a new technology at a Greenville, North Carolina medical center that improves brain cancer treatment. Gamma Knife works by destroying cells so they don't grow, shrinking the size of brain tumors over time. It makes it easy to reach and treat a large number of tumors in a single session with minimal recovery. The chief of neurology at Vidant Medical Center said their Gamma Knife machine delivers a high dose of radiation to a very small target without making an incision or affecting healthy surrounding tissue. He says the biggest benefit is the precision, accuracy, and convenience for patients.
If you go back 25 or 30 years, almost everybody with that condition had surgery. And now probably less than 10% of them have surgery, have downtime, they don't have a hospital stay, and they have the 1 day of treatment and they go back and live their life.
Another benefit to this new model is that patients use a mask placement instead of a traditional frame which screws titanium pins into one's skull. The mask requires no anesthesia and causes no pain. Some treatments take as little as 15 minutes. And Ford announces a major investment in electric and self-driving vehicles. The U.S. automaker says it will start building such cars in Michigan. Specifically, Ford will invest about $850 million at its plant in Flat Rock to produce electric cars. Another $50 million will be used for self-driving technology. The Flat Rock plant will continue producing the Ford Mustang and Lincoln Continental. Currently, Ford does not make a pure electric vehicle, but it is expected to start assembling an electric SUV at a Mexican plant next year. Number 3, Google is now officially using drones to deliver goods, including espresso, golf equipment, and gelato. Wing, the drone delivery company owned by Google's parent company, is now delivering orders to about 100 households in Canberra, Australia. Wing has been making trial runs in the area for a year, but Australian aviation authorities only recently gave formal approval. Deliveries are expected to gradually expand to more neighborhoods in the coming months. Drone deliveries in the US have been more limited as companies wait on regulations. And just a few weeks ago, we took a look at Samsung's new foldable phone, but the tech company has faced backlash over issues related to the design. Users took to Twitter to vent their frustration, and many posted videos of their struggles, including malfunctioning screens. Sometimes peeling off the phone entirely. This disappointed customers who spent over $2,000 on the latest device utilizing Samsung's OLED technology. Samsung responded, quote, a limited number of early Galaxy Fold samples were provided to media for review. We have received a few reports regarding the main display on the samples provided, and we will inspect thoroughly these units in person to determine the cause of the matter. They did this while also shifting some of the blame to user error involving the removal of protective layers that was not intended to come off. They stated that Quote, separately, a few reviewers reported having removed the top layer of the display, causing damage to the screen. The main display on the Galaxy Fold features a top protective layer, which is part of the display structure designed to protect the screen from unintended scratches. Removing the protective layer or adding adhesives to the main display may cause the damage, and we will ensure this information is clearly delivered to our customers. And scientists are up in arms over the listing of a rare baby T-Rex fossil on eBay. The listing from a fossil hunter named Alan Dietrich says the relic may be the only one of its kind in the world. Dietrich found the fossil in Montana, adding that it has a 15-foot long body and a 21-inch skull. The listing has a buy it now price of nearly $3 million and does not appear to have any bids, but scientists and other critics are calling the listing a disgrace, arguing that the fossil should remain in the public trust so it can continue to be studied. The University of Kansas Natural History Museum had the fossil on display but removed it due to the controversy, saying it does not sell fossils to anyone. The museum also alleges that it believed Dietrich planned to sell the fossil to a museum, not a private collector. Dietrich hasn't responded to media requests for comment. And next on Sparked, scientists have found the first type of molecule to form in the universe. What does that mean for us? SpaceX launches the Falcon Heavy for the first time since 2018's partial landing failure, and the sport captivating the nation, robotics football, who prevailed at this year's Collegiate Robotics Football Conference Playoffs. Welcome back. Scientists have found the first type of molecule to form in the universe. There have been theories about helium hydride ion since 1925, but scientists could not find evidence of its existence in space until now. This is a picture of the ion, which was detected by a high-resolution spectrometer on board a modified Boeing jet carrying a telescope. The first molecules were formed from chemical reactions in the aftermath of the Big Bang. 13.8 billion years ago, scientists say those first molecules were crucial in helping form everything we know. The findings of the helium hydride ion were published Wednesday in the journal Nature. And it had been over 1 year since the last launch of the Falcon Heavy rocket. The Falcon Heavy rocket, carrying a communication satellite for a Saudi Arabian firm, lifted off from Kennedy Space Center. And that wasn't the only first for SpaceX. All three of the rocket's boosters successfully returned to Earth after the launch. February 2018's initial launch of the Falcon Heavy saw only a partial success of the booster landings, as two returned to the landing pad, but the third missed the drone ship. This was the first Falcon Heavy launch to successfully land all three boosters. SpaceX is 4 for 4 this year, with many more launches scheduled soon, and the next Heavy launch planned for June 22nd. A consortium of astronomers from around the globe announced they have taken a picture of a black hole. It is 55 million light years away, and it took 200 researchers working for a decade to capture the image. CNN's Nick Patton-Walsh has more.
A grainy, almost inscrutable silhouette. It is humanity's first glimpse of the darkest and heaviest kind of entity in our universe.
We have seen what we thought was unseeable. We have seen and taken a picture of a black hole.
Simultaneously released by astronomers at press events around the globe, it's a first. Images from a galaxy 55 million light-years away. Resembling a bright halo is superheated gas circling the black hole's outer edge, the so-called event horizon. Beyond it exists a gravity force so powerful, not even light can escape, and all known physical laws begin to break down.
Black holes are major disruptors of the cosmic order on the largest scales in the universe. M87's huge black hole mass makes it really a monster, even by supermassive black hole standards. So you're basically looking at a supermassive black hole that's almost the size of our entire solar system.
The images come after years of data collection analysis by 200 scientists. With no single instrument powerful enough to capture a black hole, a network of telescopes spread across the Earth worked as one. Named the Event Horizon Telescope Project, it's the biggest experiment of its kind, and the results are scintillating astrophysicists worldwide.
You know, you feel like it's a special time. I'm sure Galileo felt he was there at a special time, right? But I think we all feel that this is a special time.
Of particular significance, the images help validate what was long thought purely theoretical.
It's a stress test for Einstein's theory of general relativity, and it has passed with flying colors. So that's what is remarkable. He was unsure that a mathematical solution would actually correspond to something real in the universe. He eventually changed his mind, but he did not believe in them because A, he thought they could be just mathematical curiosities, and that nature wouldn't be so perverse to actually allow such objects to form.
While resolving some questions, now visible evidence of black holes creates new cosmic riddles, blazing a trail for new discoveries to come.
Mysteries abound around black holes, and we do know that there must be something more. The problem of quantum gravity remains unsolved with the current tools that we have, and black holes are one of the places to look for answers.
Nick Payton-Walsh, CNN.
And the part you all have been waiting for, let's take a look at this year's robotics football Final Four. Game 1, Notre Dame versus Purdue Kokomo. Last year's runner-up Notre Dame took the lead early and didn't look back. A pair of early touchdowns by running back Terabyte followed up with big stops by the Irish defense. They got the momentum going. Purdue's only score of the game came on a robotics football first. Yes, you saw that correctly. The first ever pick six in robotics football playoff history. Despite that, the Irish still finished out on top 46-6. Moving on to the second semifinal, that saw your Crusaders nearly freeze out the Polar Bears from Ohio Northern behind 5 touchdowns from running back Airbud and 2 more from the quarterback design runs. The Crusaders dominated en route to their 4th straight championship appearance. They won 54-6. And when Spark returns, find out who wins the 4th straight championship rematch between these arch rivals. Looking beyond robotics football, how can this technology revolutionize society? And how is 3D printing transforming medical technology? Stick with us. The 8th edition of the Collegiate Robotics Football Championship, Notre Dame versus Valparaiso. Notre Dame scored off the opening drive and got a quick stop on defense. The Crusader offense failed to gain momentum throughout the game. They fell behind early 16-7 at halftime. In the second half, Valpo cut the deficit to 8, but an onside kick and subsequent touchdown by Notre Dame increased their lead. They ended up coasting to a 38-21 victory and championship. The best part of seeing these robotics face off is realizing what this technology can do when robotics is applied to make the world a better place. Let's take a look. FedEx representatives presented a delivery robot to the city of Manchester, New Hampshire. The company wants to launch a pilot program for its same-day bot delivery system there. FedEx has teamed up with a local inventor to create the delivery robot, which is battery operated, can carry up to 100 pounds, and can travel up to 10 miles an hour. It is equipped with lights, cameras, and signals to show where it is going. The creators say it can go through puddles and over potholes and even climb stairs. Manchester's Board of Aldermen voted to allow city staff to work with FedEx on a delivery bot pilot plan. In addition, it looks like robots will have a hand in keeping the world's largest retailer running. Walmart announced Tuesday it is adding thousands of new robots to its stores. These are so-called smart assistants. They will clean floors, scan shelf inventory, and sort deliveries. Walmart has already tested the technology in hundreds of stores over the past year. It admits the expansion will lead to certain jobs going away and some employee attrition over time. Other retailers and grocery chains also plan to use robots in their stores. Labor advocates worry this change could trigger layoffs in retail. Controversial police shootings around the country sometimes escalate after police mistake an innocent object for a gun. One police department in Southern California says there might be a way to protect citizens and police in those moments. Natasha Chen shows us how a drone and special software could be changing how law enforcement responds to the scene.
Just this morning, we saw one come.
Police typically use drones after a crime has happened, but this drone is being sent out ahead of officers responding to a call.
It's a game changer for law enforcement.
The situation.
Since October, this drone has assisted the Chula Vista, California Police Department in making more than 50 arrests.
The officers are able to use their department-issued phones and see a live feed.
As part of the integration pilot program, the Federal Aviation Administration has granted the first ever authorization for police to fly a drone beyond the line of sight for proactive emergency response, giving Chula Vista PD a 40-mile flying radius.
So currently we're flying to the area of Guava Avenue and D Street.
Meanwhile, on the roof,
the drone gets launched from this pad here on the roof, navigated remotely to the scene, but there's still a pilot here to see if there's any obstruction. If there's a manned aircraft or flock of birds, he can manually override.
the chief of police says law enforcement around the country is under a lot of scrutiny right now.
Anything that we can do to provide our officers with more information and make our community safe, why wouldn't we want to do it?
What's to stop a police department from using the drone similarly for other purposes like surveillance?
Well, your policies and procedures should be in place to stipulate that it's not utilized for surveillance or to go and invade people's personal privacy.
I'm willing to give it an opportunity, we'll see how it plays out.
In Chula Vista, California, I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
The chief of police says the drone has a zoom capability of 2 miles that could be extremely helpful when a caller reports a suspicious person holding a weapon, because the drone can get a close look at what the object is before police approach the scene. Throughout the past year, we've looked at a student-built 3D printer and a concrete one. But when applied to medical technology, 3D printing is changing the industry in ways we never thought possible and creating a major medical breakthrough. Let's take a look. Israeli researchers have 3D printed a heart using a patient's own cells. The researchers say their 3D heart is small, the size of a rabbit's heart, but larger human hearts could be created using the same technology. A 3D printed heart could affect the lives of thousands awaiting transplants for end-stage heart failure each year. A number of these patients will die while on the waiting list. And an ankle bone replacement made from a 3D printer is helping an Iowa man walk again. Megan Reuther shows us how this cutting-edge treatment works.
How you feeling?
Good. Good.
Shaka Robinson learned to live with pain after an accident 20 years ago.
I fell out of a car and separated my foot from my tibia and fibia, and it was hanging by like a piece of skin.
And he had these 2 wires.
Back then, doctors reconstructed his ankle with pins. He went about his life without any big problems until he moved to Iowa this summer.
I thought that I had twisted it in my yard doing yard work. Came inflamed and infected, and I had to come to the hospital.
And it just kind of fell apart.
He came to Broadlands Medical Center and learned the talus bone in his ankle was dead and had to be removed.
The nice thing is 2 years ago, your option would have been to go in and tear out that bone and pack this whole thing full of just a bunch of bone graft and fuse up your whole rear foot and ankle, and then none of it would have ever moved again.
Dr. Micah Murdoch had a new option.
I first heard about it about a year ago. It hadn't been out much longer than that. Not very many people are doing it.
A total ankle replacement with a talus bone made from a 3D printer.
They use the normal ankle or the healthy ankle in order to build a mirror image bone that we can use to replace the one that's been destroyed or damaged.
This is a replica of the 3D printed talus put into Shaka's ankle. It weighs less than a pound. It's made of cobalt chromium.
He was the first patient to have this done here.
We've had another guy since then, and I've got 3 more on the schedule ready to go, and we're just really enjoying this improvement and this new technology that allows us to offer people something that, you know, has not been an option in the past for them.
Really good, actually.
Shaka was walking 2 weeks after his surgery. He's now doing physical therapy to restore full movement.
Doc says that it'll get better and better as time goes on. I'm already impressed.
Right, this is great. 3 months.
He's excited to live life to the fullest.
I can actually do a little moving, and maybe the wife can go dancing.
The talus bone can also be printed with titanium. That printing takes 6 weeks. And coming up, NAB's trade show did not disappoint. With this year's new technology, check out how the days of just one 60-inch TV on the wall isn't enough. See how a few students on campus honored the hard work of a couple of their engineering teachers. And you won't want to miss final thoughts and the quote of the day. It seems like 4K TV technology just arrived, but 8K televisions aren't even the best out there. We sent VUTV's Heather Bricka down to the National Association of Broadcasters convention in Las Vegas, where Sony announced the future of their crystal LED technology.
Well, thanks, Colin. At this year's NAB show, Sony announced its 16K television that is in development. The 63 by 17 foot screen is longer than a bus and is officially being constructed in Yokohama, Japan. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this will be making its way into living rooms for even a while, even if it were big enough, with David Mercer commenting that we're slowly moving towards 8K TVs at the end of the decade, and who knows how long it will take to get beyond that. So 16K is likely to be limited to the corporate world for the time being. In order to make this resolution possible, 8K footage is applied to an algorithm which deduces what additional pixels will look like, much like how 1080p footage is upsampled to generate a 4K image.
Thanks, Heather. Not only do we have amazing breakthroughs across the country and around the world, we have students here at Valpo pursuing new challenges. In tonight's Sparked Spotlight, let's take a look at what a group of electrical and computer engineering students were able to create.
Drawdio is basically a pencil that you put a little 555 timer circuit on, and it measures the resistance between your fingers and the lead in it, and it makes a sound. We thought at first it would make music, but it just makes kind of annoying buzzing sound, and as you draw along, it changes the pitch of it, and you can get different sounds from it. You can use this for mostly entertainment, so like as you're drawing, if you want to kind of hear what your drawing sounds like. So if you're drawing like a monster, it can make a little bit of a growl or something, or a robot makes more high-pitched sounds. So it's really just for entertainment, really.
And then I asked Colin a question, and Colin's like, I got it. That's just he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
The work students are able to do on campus would not be possible without the hard work and dedication of their professors. Recently, a few professors were recognized for their efforts. Shaheen Nudehi is the Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Bioengineering and the Frederick F. Jenny Professor of Emerging Technology for 2018 to 2020. He received the university's Award for Excellence in Research and Creative Work for 2019. Chair of Mechanical Engineering Scott Duncan remarked, Professor Nudehi has engaged and inspired many students and provided these students with the intellectual training to someday become practicing engineers and researchers themselves. The Award for Excellence in Research and Creative Work recognizes a tenured faculty member who has made significant scholarly achievements to his or her discipline and/or public discourse over the course of his or her career. The awardee is engaged in the national or international conversation within his or her domain of study, demonstrating notable accomplishments and recognition in scholarly, artistic, and other relevant communities. The award comes with a $3,000 prize. And in the Department of Computer and Electrical Engineering, Associate Professor Mark Budnick received the American Society for Engineering Education, or ASEE, National Outstanding Teaching Medal.
So Professor Budnick is probably one of the most influential professors that I've met here at Valpo. He just does so much for you inside the classroom and also outside the classroom. So I had Linear Circuit 1 and Linear Circuit Theory 2 with him last year, and honestly, I never left his classroom without a smile on my face. He would always incorporate jokes into the lectures, and he'd always make sure that you're paying attention, and you really had fun learning the material. But a lot of professors can do that. They can teach you really hard material and make it not seem so hard. But the thing that I really think sets Professor Budnick apart is how much he cares for his students outside of the classroom. So I've been to his office countless occasions asking for help on which classes I should sign up for, about internships, and really anything, even just life in general. He's always available for life advice.
And that sends us right to final thoughts. Tonight's quote of the day: the rules of a scientist's life. See failure as a beginning, not an end. Never stop learning. Assume nothing, question everything. Teach others what you know. Analyze objectively. Practice humility. Respect constructive criticism. Give credit where it's due. Take initiative. Ask the tough questions early, and love what you do or leave. We have had some amazing moments from this past year looking at many wonderful creations. Before we go, thanks to everyone for watching this year. Reach out on social media at Valpo VUTV and let us know why you should be featured next season on Sparked. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram and like us on Facebook. Until next time, I'm Colin Luft, and we will see you again this fall. Thanks for watching.